What if you could have everything you've ever wanted to have right now? All the money, the fame, Teslas, ice cream? I have some bad news for you because that is not what this book is about. That's what I thought it was about, so let's try that again. What if you could get the most out of life? What if you could find joy right now? What if you could free yourself from yourself? Welcome to The Power of Now. Hi, my name is Peter Paul, and I want to share with you the one life-changing tip that I've learned from this book. I know life-changing is an overused term, but I really do mean that. To this day, this one thing has really changed the way I live my life. Full disclaimer, there are a lot of things that I did not agree with in the book. A lot. Back to the book. What is the one thing that changed my life? It is the idea of being present and living in the now. Basically, the main point of the book. What does it mean to be present? Well, according to Eckhart Tolle, the author, which, by the way, is an awesome name, there are 3 places where we can live. And when I say live, I mean where our mind, attention, and focus is. So we can live in the past, we can live in the future, or we can live right here, in the present moment, the now. The main goal is to live in the now. Why? Because the only thing we have is now. It is the present moment. Living in the present moment means letting go of the past and not waiting for the future. It means that we live our life consciously, acknowledging each and every moment as a gift. When we are present, we are able to see the beauty that is all around us, from spending time with those we love to spending time in nature. Being present means we can appreciate and take it all in, because it's all there really is. Now, the present moment. Living in the present also means we let go of the past. Why do we let go of the past? Because the past can be a source of pain. The author says that guilt, regret, resentment, grievances, sadness, bitterness, and all forms of non-forgiveness are caused by too much past and not enough presence. So we all have things in our past that bring us pain, and we don't wish to live through it again, but we still do it, including myself. The author urges us to let go of the pain by letting go of the past. Number 2 is the past isn't real. It's just a memory that we dwell on. Imagine a house full of painful memories from the past. Dwelling on the past is like visiting that house every day, over and over again. But really, that house only exists in our minds. Understand that every moment visiting this house is a moment taken away from the now. I get it, Eckhart. Obviously, there are lessons that the past can teach us, and for others, there may be a lot they need to process in order to finally let it go. Personally, learning this has definitely helped me to get some closure on some of the things that happened in my past, even let go of any grudges that I've held. But the past isn't all bad. I mean, we all have amazing memories. And what about the future? Well, Eckhart Tolle says, unease, anxiety, tension, stress, worry, all forms of fear are caused by too much future and not enough presence. Basically, it means that most, if not all of our fears come from the future. I think about all the times that I've been stressed out or worried or anxious. Well, what do they all have in common? They all stem from a fear of what might happen in the future. And if you're thinking, oh, I'm not fearful or afraid of the future, I just get stressed. Well, there's a funny saying that goes, stress is the adult word for fear. So when we're stressed out about something, we're actually fearing or dreading it. How many times do we get stressed out about a relationship or a project deadline? Heck, I still get stressed out about making videos sometimes. Now when I think of the future, I think of a house in my mind that basically houses any fears or worries that I have about the future. And when I'm worried and stressed, that's because I've left the present moment to visit this house of fear and dread in the future. You ever get so stressed out or anxious that you forget what's happening around you? And what about goals? Isn't it good to be excited for the future? I think so. But, and this part blew my mind, when we rely on the future to bring us joy and fulfillment, like waiting for the next big thing to happen, then that means we are not happy now. We are actually postponing joy for later, a later that might not even happen. That means that we are living in a constant state of anticipation, where we're always waiting for what's next. Here's a personal example. When I was younger, for some reason, I believed that life would be amazing when blank. When I graduated elementary, then it turned into graduating high school, then college, then university, then traveling, then getting a job, then getting married. So instead of celebrating each moment as it happened, I began to long for what hasn't happened yet, always waiting for what was next, the next graduation, that next country to visit, that next milestone in life. You know what a milestone is after work? Retirement. And then after that is death. The wake-up call for me was experiencing those milestones and realizing that they didn't bring this endless joy. And secondly, seeing other people who were already at those future milestones and realizing that everyone has their ups and downs, and no matter what milestone they're in. Whenever I met people who had a house and kids, or retired people, or people that just finished buying their dream car or their dream house, and then thinking to myself, why aren't they super happy? Isn't this everything they've ever wanted? Haven't they reached their milestone? It was finally realizing that the joy isn't in the milestone. The moment is the milestone. I'll say that again. The joy isn't reaching the milestone. The moment is the milestone. And the moment is the journey. And it's good to have a plan for the future. Even the author suggests doing it. But there's a strong difference between planning for the future and living there. So be careful not to place fulfillment in the future, for the future is just in our minds. Living in a constant state of anticipation reminds me of a consumerist quote. It goes like this: the thing that you've always wanted is the thing you don't have yet. Or the amount of money we all want is just a little more than what we have now. There's an awesome quote by Sadhguru, who, by the way, has an awesome beard. I mean, just by looking at this guy, I know he's loaded with some life-changing quotes. The quote goes like this: you cannot suffer from the past or the future because they do not exist. What you are suffering from is your memory and your imagination. So how do we live in the present? Well, there's a simple way. Eckhart says, when we look at something like nature, not to judge it, not to calculate its beauty or compare it to something we know, but just to look at it. For example, when you're looking at nature, just see the colors, the shapes, recognize your breathing, feel your hands, the bench that you're on, sounds around you. There's actually a popular method used by psychologists to help present yourself, and it's called the 5-4-3-2-1 coping technique. First is you find 5 things you see around you, then you find 4 things you can touch, 3 things you can hear, then you find 2 things you can smell, and then 1 thing you can taste. So by doing this technique, your mind focuses on the present moment because you're acknowledging what is around you. This is actually a popular technique used for anxiety attacks. Isn't it ironic that the cure for anxiety, which is a fear of the future, is by focusing on the present? If you're new to this whole presence thing, I would recommend you try the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. I don't always do it. I do a shortened version of it. Honestly, when I catch myself dwelling on the past or the future, I personally just say, I am here. I literally whisper it to myself, and I just look around me and try to notice and acknowledge everything around me, because the present moment is all we have. From every step I take when I go for a walk with my wife, to every bead of water that collects on a leaf, every scenic view, every drop of rain that bounces off the ground, every laugh and conversation I have, every moment of silence I share with someone, every moment of silence I share with myself, every time my nephew laughs or tells me about his day, every sunset, every time I work on a video, every meal. Joy is present in each of those moments, the moment we recognize them for being enough. I'll say that again. You can find joy in each moment when you acknowledge that moment as worthy of joy. The grass isn't greener in the past or in the future. The grass is green right here in the present. So being present is the one thing that has changed my life, and maybe it might be worth trying out for yourself. If you completely disagree with that, then don't get mad at me, get mad at Eckhart Tolle. And if you want to take a deep dive into the book, then be my guest. Just be prepared that there are a lot of ideas that will challenge your fundamental beliefs, especially if you have an existing religion. And there are a lot of times where during the book I said, I get it, but I don't agree with it. A lot. But it doesn't mean that there aren't any useful things in there. So I think it's worth reading with a grain of salt, lots of salt. If you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Peter Paul. Thank you for your time and sharing this moment with me. I will see you in the next one. And by the way, if you suffer from depression or anxiety, this video is by no means a cure to anything. Heck, it might not even be a good video. It's just a video of me sharing my opinion. So all the best.